On the show tonight, former Iloilo Congressman and former TESDA Secretary Augusto Boboy Syjuco. The local political climate is heating up as 2016 draws closer. Are all these corruption scandals just a part of the cyclical political mudslinging? Let's find out. I'm your host, Miguel Gil. Good evening, Congressman.
Magandang gabi sa iyo, Miguel.
And welcome to General Assignment.
Thank you, and very pleasant good evening as well to your loyal televiewers.
I understand we will be seeing more of you in this network probably in the future.
Well, I would say so because I am no longer congressman. I no longer have any official duties. So now I'm able to use all of my time. And in fact, Miguel, I'm more busy now than I was before.
Okay, before we get into the maybe the darker part of the program, what have you been up to the past few months? I understand that you've gone to the net, you've gone viral, so to speak. No, you have your very own website, and you tackle local political issues. Tell us something about it.
That is right. Well, basically, this is, in all respects, a program of government that we put together.
For someone who was in government.
The title and the name is Pagbabago na Walang Gulo, So Help Us God, Social Democracy. And there are 5 advocacies to this particular program. The first program is Pera Ko, Gobyerno Ko, Sita Ko, which asks that we must seek and get transparency from all government agencies.
All government.
Transparencies of all of their transactions. As it is now, I have been trying to ask for the records of Tesla. Time and again, I've been asking for it. But they have refused and found one excuse or another not to give it. But I continue to seek to be able to see the records of Tesla. So yun ang unang advokasya, gobyerno ko, let's establish the fact na gobyerno ko ito, pera ko ito, at pwede akong sumita tungkol dito.
Or makialam, in other words.
Well, yes, definitely. Number 2, the second program is bilugin ang triangulo. We are referring to the social pyramid, social political pyramid, where most of the weight, ang halos lahat po ng kabigatan ng pagdadala sa pangangailangan ng bayan at sa kahirapan ay dito po sa baba. Ito pong triangulong ito ay dapat po nating i-convert ito sa isang bilog, circle. Bilugin ang triangulo kung saan po mas marami po ang middle class at mas konti po ang mahirap.
Okay. Sir, let's go to the, we cannot avoid this topic, no? And I guess this is something that is still fresh in the minds of a lot of our countrymen. You were the spearhead, or one of the main spearheads of the impeachment complaint against the president. And you did this in your capacity as a private citizen because by then you were no longer a congressman. Everyone expected that the impeachment complaint because of the DAP, no, would eventually meet a natural death. But I understand that the death that it ended up meeting was something that you find distasteful.
Extremely distasteful. Kasi naman po, talagang kumaharap naman tayo sa katotohanan eh. Ang katotohanan sa lower house,
They got the numbers.
they have the numbers. Okay. Because out of 292 congressmen, marami na po siguro yung 10 na independent pa. 282 at least at naulingan na.
Why naulingan?
Naulingan, well, na bayaran na po, nabili na ng administrasyon, na-corrupt na po ng administrasyon because this administration has been working on corrupting members of the legislature. Not only in the lower house, but also in the Senate. Sa Senado naman, out of 24, 3 na lang ang independent na natitira. Kaya alam mo, Miguel, pambihira, rare na kulang na ang supply ng uling dito sa bansa natin. Kasi lahat po ng uling nandun na po sa sa Kamara de Representante at nandun na po sa Senado.
Okay. Pinag-uusapan po natin ang mga hottest political issues of the day kasama na itong naunsyaming impeachment complaint laban sa kasalukuyang Pangulo at kung ano ng mga issue ng korupsyon. So if you want to take part in our discussions, you can text your questions or reactions to mobile number 0915-209-6012. Ayan po, it's flashing in your screens. Kindly include your first name and where you're from so we can gauge our reach. So, sana if you want to take part in our discussions, text na po kayo kaagad dahil marami pong text na tatanggap namin pagtapos na yung programa. At syempre, hindi na namin mabibigyan daan, hindi na namin mababasa ang inyong mga komento on the air. Okay, sir. It's funny that you use the word, no, the word corruption, which is supposed to be the cornerstone or the central pillar of this administration, because according to them, they would be characterized by daang matuwid. So, straight as an arrow in English, in a way, no? So, they are beyond corruption, and the talk, even insinuating that there is corruption, is sort of taboo-ish. So, your comments on that?
Well, there definitely is corruption. In fact, there was a recent event. In today's newspaper, hindi na yung quotation ko sasabihin ko, yung opinion na sasabihin ko. Meron pong isang malaking negosyante dito sa atin na nagpahayag po ng Estado tungkol sa korupsyon. Pakita po natin sana yung lumabas sa Manila Times. Ito po, Aquino failed to stop corruption. Nandiyan po yung author ng na reporter at ito pong nagsasalita ngayon dito ay si George Chua, President and CEO of BAIC.
Okay.
Group, malaki pong grupo ito ng mga negosyante, especially businessmen who are related to the automotive industry.
I know George personally. He's also the president of the Federation of Philippine Industries.
Kasi he's a big person. Ay VIP po ito. Pakita nga ulit, please lang. He described Aquino's straight path mantra as a big lie and anti-poor. Ako po ay sang-ayon sa sinabi niya.
You know, for a businessman to come out so candidly and so openly criticizing governance or the policy of this administration sort of reminds us of bygone years, no, when the whole business community united against a certain incumbent president. Pero we will not get into that. No, that's a trip down memory lane. Anyway,
Basta yung ekonomiya ay tinamaan na at nakaka-affect doon sa negosyo, ay talagang sisipa po ang mga businessmen.
pero 6.4% daw ang gross domestic product growth nitong second quarter of 2014. No? So
Well,
by any stretch of the imagination, any economist will say they must be doing something right because 6.4 is no joke. Pero I guess, but there have been questions regarding the trickle-down effect.
Okay, let me read what
Okay.
Mr. Chua has to say. Sabi niya, our poverty rate has not improved. We're talking about the different rate now, not the GNP. Okay. Our poverty rate has not improved. It has actually deteriorated, sabi niya. The underemployment and unemployment rates have also not improved. Chua told a round table with reporters and editors of the Manila Times. He said, government has failed to address housing needs of the poor. And he said that Aquino is good at flaunting his achievements, payabang. But his sincerity in easing the plight of the masses is doubtful. Kaya po yung mga mahirap ngayon ay mas mahirap. Yung mga mahirap dati ay mas mahirap ngayon. Regardless of whether you say what the GNP is. Ang question dito, umaabot ba sa ilalim? Tumatama ba doon sa mga tao nagugutom at mga pobreng tao na talagang hirap na hirap sa buhay? My feeling, he says, is that we are not the bosses, sabi niya. We are the slaves. That's strong language. Huh? And he also talks about the failure to resolve post-congestion in the two major ports in Manila. In other words, apektado din yung automotive group dito sa dito sa
Of course,
dito sa
congestion of the ports, no, and the traffic that somehow is part and parcel of it. But let me ask you, let's go back to the impeachment issue. Earlier, you told me that it's not totally unexpected, but then again, the manner by which it was killed off was something that surprised you somewhat, no? Is there a good way to kill a proposal or a proposed law or something?
Yes, there is a good way to kill it, which is to kill it at the outset. In other words, hindi na pinabayaan na yung proseso ay humaba pa. So, umpisa pa lang ay pinutol na. So, we did not actually go through a whole impeachment process. Sa first step pa lang, pinigilan na nila. Ginamit na nila yung kanilang numbers, yung 292. Yung 282 out of 290 na naulingan na. Ito ginamit nila para pigilan na ang diskusyon at hindi na humaba.
Let me be the devil's advocate here, Congressman. Doesn't the fact that he has such a stranglehold or such control over legislature indicate in some way good governance or good leadership qualities? What do you think?
Mabuti sana kung talaga humanga lang sa kanya at talaga nai-inspire niya ang tao. Pero ang talagang sikreto niya dito ay yung pagbili ng tao through projects. Kaya nga, hindi ba in-outlaw na yung PDAP dahil sa kanya? Dati naman wala namang humihingi na gawing illegal yung PDAP Pero ngayon talagang ginagamit niya pagbili talaga ng congressman at senador.
So naniniwala kayo
outlaw ng Supreme Court.
So naniniwala kayo dun sa sinabi ni Senator Bong Revilla na nung pinasisibak o pinai-impeach nila si Chief Justice Corona, nagkaroon ng maraming what do you call it, horse trading, backroom discussions?
Well, not just horse trading. Merong isang DAP, yung ginamit nila na program kuno ng DAP. Noon lang nila actually naisip yung DAP. Kasi nahuli si Drilon at saka si Abad na namimigay ng 1,050,000,000 sa mga senadores before the voting and relative to the voting. In fact, si Drilon gave himself 100 million for that. Okay? But the other congressmen mostly received 50 million.
He gave himself
He gave himself, he's the only case in history na siya ang bribe giver, siya din ang bribe taker. So he gave himself 100 million of projects for that.
That's a serious accusation, but can that be substantiated?
It is substantiated. It's not an accusation. It's a fact. It's there in the newspapers. It's in the records of the Senate.
Of course.
It's public knowledge that this 1,050,000,000 supposedly coming from a program called DAP, which was non-existent at that time. Non-existent. Because Serge Osmeña even said at that time, what is that? I don't know that animal. Okay? So, ito po ay suhol. Suhol na hindi lang po sa mga congressman, suhol din po sa mga senador para po impeach si Corona. Because what Aquino wants is to play around and control all three branches of government.
Okay, anyway, I guess the discussion tonight is really heating up. Friends, General Assignment will be right back after a few reminders. Don't go away.